it's Meg KAYLEE here with GameStop. Now, as a lot of you know, the new Pokemon Snap game is now available on Nintendo Switch, and here to talk with me today is Lindsey from Nintendo Treehouse. Hi, Lindsey, thank you so much for joining me today.
Hi, Meg, thank you so much for having me.
So let's start with just an overview of the new Pokemon Snap game. What is this game, and how does it differ from Pokemon series games that people may be familiar with?
Right, so in the new Pokemon Snap game, you're taking pictures of Pokemon in their native environments as you're riding around in this vehicle called the Neopon. So instead of battling Pokemon or catching them, you're researching them by capturing them on your photo lens.
I'd love to hear a little bit about what you think makes this game appealing to fans of traditional Pokemon games, but also maybe to someone who may be unfamiliar with Pokemon overall.
You know, that's a great question. I mean, the heart of this game really boils down to that joy of discovery. And I think players will really enjoy discovering different surprises throughout the game, regardless of your knowledge of the Pokemon franchise. There's so many different surprise moments in here that are easy to miss, and it's a lot of fun when you can catch a moment that you enjoy and then share it with others. I'm actually really enjoying seeing what other players have been sharing, because quite a few of them are moments that I actually missed on my playthrough, so it makes me want to go back and try to catch those moments myself. Now, Pokemon fans get to see characters that they may know in one way from previous games, but may not have had opportunities to see or interact with in the wild. And in new Pokemon Snap, there's an opportunity to see a wide variety of Pokemon, how they interact, and their actions in ways that you would not have been able to in other games. It gives you the opportunity to get to know a variety of Pokemon in a different context than battle. Now, it's also kind of fun to see things that you might not expect and go like, whoa, what was that? So for example, like Wingull swooping down and picking up a Finneon, or, you know, Machamp swimming in the water, or Cacnea chasing tumbleweeds through the desert, or even just finding yourself facing down a very annoyed Tyrantrum, you know? The list just kind of goes on and on.
Yeah, I love that this game is really just full of surprises for Pokemon fans, but like you mentioned, also people who maybe are completely new to the Pokemon franchise. You mentioned how, you know, you've experienced a lot of really fun moments. I'd love to hear about some of your favorite moments that you've had while playing this game.
My favorite, ooh, that's a hard question. Let's see if I could do a couple of these without spoiling. So, out in the desert at night, I've got a couple of them, so I'll see if I can touch on a few. When I first got out to the desert at night, you see a Kangaskhan sitting on the dunes there, sort of highlighted against, you know, the starry sky, and you see these shooting stars just rocket right across. And it's one of those, wow, that's really cool moments. And, you know, as you get into the photography side of things and start to edit it, you can do some fun things with the stickers and the stamps and such.
Yes, it's just been so fun seeing what everybody's been sharing, but to back up a little bit, let's set the scene here for people who maybe are unfamiliar with the premise of the game. What's the story here, and why are we out exploring and taking photos of Pokemon?
So, in a nutshell, we're out on an ecological survey that's, you know, going around the different islands that make up this new lentil region. And the local Pokemon professor, Professor Mirror, is conducting research into this mysterious Illumina phenomenon, which is something that's specific to this region. So as you research, you're also building out this Pokemon photo decks with all your photos.
And so for me, one of the things that I really love about new Pokemon Snap is the way that as you play, you kind of start to feel like you're getting to know the Pokemon a little bit. You're becoming familiar with how they might react to certain things, and you can kind of use that to your advantage and set up some really cool shots. So can you talk to us a little bit about the research levels in the game and how leveling up can impact our gameplay?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, definitely it's a lot of fun trying to figure out, you know, what things you can do can sort of elicit reactions to Pokemon, and definitely that sort of follows back into how the professor rates and scores your photos. So after you complete each course, Professor Mirror will, you know, rate and score the photos. The photos you add to your photo decks will have the points added to your research level for that area. So each area, so let's say we're in the nature park, basically, and we're in the day. So you go around the nature park, you take your pictures, and then once you're done, you have the professor rate your photos, and then whatever photos you have that add to your photo decks from that area, add to that research level until you get to, you know, the next level. Now, as you increase the level of that area, more Pokemon might appear, you know, throughout the course. They might appear in different locations, and you might even discover some alternative paths. So it sort of opens up even more opportunity to catch some different moments.
Now, can you tell us a little bit about how the gyro controls work?
Oh, so the motion controls are much like a regular camera. You can look around using the Nintendo Switch system in your handheld mode, or Joy-Con controllers, or if you've got like a Nintendo Switch Pro controller, same deal. You can actually move it around with motion. But if you're not someone who is into motion controls, you can also use the sticks and the buttons as well.
Yeah, I always think it's great to have a ton of options when it comes to controls, and I love that we have that here. Now, earlier you mentioned some of the stamps and stickers and things that we can use to decorate our photos. I'd love to talk a little bit more about how we can edit our in-game photos after we take them. What do we have available to us when it comes to customizing our shots?
Right, so it's actually two different things we can do that are, or I should say two different features. And the first is resnap, which is something that I particularly enjoy. So after you finish the course, you can actually choose to save some photos to your in-game album. And then from that album, while you're doing that, you can actually do what's called resnap. So basically, if you got the perfect moment, but it's slightly off center, or maybe it's too far away, or maybe the Pokemon got slightly cut off, you can actually choose to sort of recenter, punch in, change the focal point, such like that, and do sort of a lot of what people would, associate with classic photography, mix up, different filters and such, and basically redo the photo in that sense, and then save it to your in-game album. Now, for the actual customization side of things that we announced in February, basically you're adding things like fun stickers and frames and stamps that you unlock as you play through the game, to sort of add your own flair to the photo. So it gets a little bit fun and a little crazy. If you look at what people are sharing, you can kind of see different examples.
Yes, absolutely. I've been loving, especially the stickers. It's so fun to see what people do with them, and there are so many cute ones to choose from. And like you mentioned, it's been so fun seeing what everybody's been sharing. And when you take an awesome photo in this game, it's only normal to want to share it with others, right? Can you tell us a little bit about the online features that we can put to use within the game?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think both the sharing those moments with other people and looking at what other people are capturing is really great. And it's fun to see kind of what moments they've caught and kind of see how you might be able to improve as a Pokemon photographer as well. But there are a few different ways to share in this game. So if you're someone who wants to just save the photos to your Nintendo Switch system and then share that way, you can. Or if you're an active Nintendo Switch Online member, the game also offers online galleries that you can then share your photos to, and other players from all around the world can admire your photo and give what are called sweet medal rewards. So things like that.
I love that. I think it's really cool that people can give kind of recognition to each other for their photos and a little pat on the back like, hey, your photo's really cool. I think that's awesome. Now, we've talked a little bit about a lot of the different Pokemon and things we can see in this game. What about the different environments? What are some of the different environments that we can expect to see as we progress through the game?
I mean, definitely the Lintel region is a bunch of different islands, and there's a nice variety of environments to enjoy. So there's this broad desert, as I mentioned, that are teeming with Pokemon like Onix and Torchic. There's a lush jungle that you can go through with some playful Aipom and Sobble, and there's this gorgeous beach with Wingull and Blossom and even Executor. So, plus there's some areas that have night versions that you'll be able to visit, and maybe even see different Pokemon there as well. So there's many different locations and different environments that you can explore, but I'm going to sort of let you play the game and discover the rest.
Yes, personally, I really love the beach in real life and in new Pokemon Snap, and I love that I'm able to feel like I'm at the beach surrounded by a bunch of super cute Pokemon when I'm playing this game. I'd love to hear about your favorite environment and where you really like to snap photos in this game.
Ooh, I mean, again, that's hard to choose. I really like the forests, and mostly because I keep discovering things that I didn't expect to be there, and different opportunities as well. But the forest basically has this sort of misty area that you go through, and then you open up into this nice open field with different Pokemon that offers just so many different opportunities.
Yeah, if only we had Pokemon walking around in real life, I would love that. But I think it's really cool that, like you were talking about, you can visit levels at both day and night, and I'm curious to hear a little bit more about how this affects the gameplay and the experience that we can expect to have depending on when we visit an environment.
Right, so not all of them do, but the night versions are new, and it's pretty cool to be able to go back and see how some of these different courses and different paths look at night. So for example, if you go to the jungle and you go and you crest the waterfall, it's just kind of breathtaking at night. You're like, that's really cool. I was not expecting that at all. So if you haven't reached that part of the game and you haven't played the night version, I do highly recommend doing that, because it's an experience, to say the least. But it is fun to go back and see kind of how these different paths look at night. You can see how there are different opportunities for interaction. Some different Pokemon that you might have not seen during the day might be there at night. So maybe they're nocturnal, for example. Now, I should note that this isn't tied to the actual time of day. It's not real time. So you can actually go back and visit either the day or the night version of the course at any time. So you don't have to do these in bed. You can actually literally just go any time of day.
I love that. That's awesome. Now, getting to sit down with you, it's clear that you've played a lot of this game. You know the ins and outs. Do you have any tips for any of us out here looking for some tips and tricks for snapping good photographs of Pokemon in their environments?
My advice is have fun with it. I mean, really, there's so much. I mean, like I said, with the amount of time I played this game, I'm still finding something new each and every time I play. Like even like if I'm going through and I'm seeing other people's photos, I'm like, I had no idea that was a thing. What the heck? So really enjoy what you're there. It's nice and relaxing. Look around. You know, you can look, left, right, forward, even back. Sometimes, if you look back, you'll catch moments you might have missed. So, for example, like a palm hopping off of a Quagsires head, for example, or like a Minior and a Sandshrew, playing together. You just never know what you're gonna miss. But my advice is enjoy what you're playing, and enjoy the moment. Have fun with it. Bring your own style to it.
I think that's fantastic advice. As you play through this game, you build up this amazing collection of in-game photos, and I know this is going to be a really hard question, but I would love to hear if you have, a number one favorite photo that you've snapped that you just love a ton, and can you describe it to us?
So I'm going to give you two. There's a moment that comes to mind that I got a photo of, but it's going to say, so I brought up Torchic previously, and so when you toss a piece of fruit at Torchic, the Torchic will set it on fire and then eat it and then do a little happy dance. And so it's fun when you catch the happy dance in midair where it's just sort of, jumped in midair, looks super, super happy. And so it's fun to sort of, catch that moment and then edit, the photo however you want. But I think my favorite actually would boil down to, I have that moment of Lycanroc Midnight Form howling, and I have added like a little cupcake sticker to its little paw, and so it's kind of like rejoicing over the cupcake. And so for me, I'm like, it's just that little, adding that little personality into that might not have been there otherwise, that it adds my sense of humor into it, I think. So I do enjoy that.
I love that. It just goes to show how much fun you can have with some of the stickers and decorating in this game, and how it can completely change up what a photo kind of feels like. Now, I also want to hear about some of your favorite Pokemon that are in the game. You mentioned some of them, but do you have any that you just really, really love that you have a soft spot for?
So, interestingly enough, I got to know some Pokemon that I would not have expected to. So I know that some people have talked about how Bidoof is ridiculously cute, and that's not a Pokemon most people would associate with, hey, that's my favorite Pokemon. Some people might. For me, actually, it was that is a tough question. Honestly, I really started enjoying Wingull. Wingull is not a Pokemon I would generally have associated with, hey, that's my favorite Pokemon. Again, some people might. But just some different things you can get Wingull to do in the game, including that swooping down and catching the Finian out of the water, I think is just really, really cool. And so it's just things you wouldn't expect. And obviously there's more Pokemon than that, but that's just the first one that comes to mind.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Lindsey. It's been so great getting to learn more about new Pokemon Snap, and also hearing about your experience with the game and how much fun you've had with it. So thank you so much for joining us today and telling us a little bit more about the game.
No, thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
If you're watching and you want to check out new Pokemon Snap, you can pick it up today at GameStop or GameStop.com. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Meg KAYLEE, and I'll see you later.